Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. And my little friend Winston would like to say hello to everybody. He's having a wild time tonight while we're filming, so I thought I'd bring him into the pictures and let him visit for just a minute. He, I think, weighs about 8.5, 9 pounds now. And you can see he's become a great big boy. He weighed about 1.5 pounds when he first came to live here. So anyway, I thought you might like to have an update from Sir Winston, and now we can get down to business. I have picked him up off of this desk and put him down like 47 times tonight, and we may have to do that again, but anyhow. I'll start with some announcements. First of all, the Diet and Lifestyle Intervention course, this 15-module course that I've been talking to you about and mentioning for the last couple of weeks, starts tomorrow night. You could still get enrolled. I mean, it's a pain in the butt when you guys wait till the last minute, but a couple of you emailed me this morning and asked if you could still sign up, and yes, you can. All right. If you live in Central Ohio, we have a dinner scheduled for June 12th. That's next Monday. If you live here, you can come have dinner with us. I deliver a health talk and do a Q&A. If you are remote, you are welcome to join us remotely. I can't feed you, unfortunately, and the food's really good here, but you can listen to my talk and you can engage in the Q&A, and we'd love to have you join us. So that's going on. Navigating the healthcare system safely is then scheduled for June 14th, and this is everything from in handling insurance and claims and just questions you should ask and things you should agree and not agree to. It's interactive and you'll get a chance to ask lots of questions. And then the next non-member free tour is scheduled for June 22nd. So if you're interested in maybe joining, but you're not sure, I take everybody on a tour of our resources and engage in a free Q&A. So you get a little bonus there, the type of workshop that you might participate in if you became a member. Last but not least, here is what we're doing for June. We do this in the fall, and we've had some requests to do it more than once a year. Buy 1 to 8 months worth of smoothie, and you can apply dollar for dollar to taking courses. So if you want to do navigating healthcare, we've got a whole repertoire of exciting stuff coming up, and we've got, I don't know, 3,000 hours of online video and slide sets and that sort of thing. So plenty to choose from. So if you're a smoothie devotee, I have one every morning. That's how I start my day. You get a dollar for dollar transfer. Spend this much money on smoothie ingredients between 1 and 8 months, and you get equal dollar for dollar in courses, free courses. So tomorrow I'll make the smoothie before I film the video so you can see what it looks like, and we'll talk about the ingredients. But here's what I talk about today, and it's kind of related to the how to navigate the healthcare system safely. A little bit on the disturbing side, but easily can be addressed if you know what to do. All right, so let me just start by saying patients aren't very happy with the current medical system. And believe it or not, good doctors and other practitioners aren't any happier. Everything's been systematized. Doctors working for medical institutions don't have much freedom, and sometimes none, to practice that they want to. The incessant typing of data into insurance and government databases grates on everybody's nerves. And some people have said that their doctors don't even make eye contact and they're entering data on their computers during the whole appointment. Well, I'm going to give you the counter to that. A physician friend of mine decided not to do that, and she would take the files home and then do all the data entry at home. And this went on for a few days, and she had to go back to doing it at the office as much as she didn't like it, because she has 3 children and they were literally living without their mother because she would go home and type for hours and hours. So this is not a better system for doctors. Believe me, many of them don't like it and they'd like to find a way out. Well, another issue related to this is shorter visits. According to a new study, as doctor visits get shorter, the risk is higher that quality of care will be lower. I mean, I kind of expected, right? For example, in this study, the likelihood was greater that antibiotics would be inappropriately prescribed for upper respiratory infections. Shorter visits also led to much more liberal prescribing of opioids and benzodiazepines for pain. Records from over 8 million primary care visits, over 4.3 million patients, and almost 8,100 primary care physicians were analyzed. Almost 57% of the time, visits lasting 10 minutes resulted in inappropriate antibiotic prescribing. 20-minute visits dropped the percentage slightly to 54%, but not as much as you might imagine. But here's the problem. For many doctors and patients, the only visits they've ever had were short, which means that the initial, let's get to know you, look at your history, what are your preferences, that sort of thing, never takes place. It's difficult for patients to ask questions or to bring up complex topics, and sometimes they don't have any relationship at all with their doctor. And it places the doctor at an even greater disadvantage. While nationwide, the average primary visit lasts 18 minutes, it's estimated that if a doctor were to take the time and then follow all of the recommended guidelines with each patient seen, it would take 27 hours per day. This probably doesn't even include the dreaded data entry. Well, there's no possible way somebody can practice medicine 27 hours a day, so you just go down to the shorter visits. You can't get it all done. Well, obviously, the best solution for the problem is to see independent doctors outside of medical institutions who can practice the way that they want to. There's more of that going on. Those types of doctors, and I know many of them, they usually can do what they want. They can say, my first visit is always 45 minutes or maybe even an hour. The problem is that there aren't enough of these docs yet. So I'm going to reiterate what I've said many times before. You need to do some things to protect yourself as a consumer. The first thing is you need to learn about the causes of your diseases or your conditions and the various options for treatments or reversal. In the absence of an emergency, don't act on any instructions until you have an opportunity to investigate. And by the way, the vast majority of medical decisions are made outside of emergency circumstances. So there's no reason to, there's sometimes it's life-threatening, do what people tell you to do. They're trying to save your life, but that's not what's going on most of the time. Ask the doctor for any information or resources that he or she might have, and then do your own research. That's what we teach people how to do. It's one of the reasons why you might want to consider being a member, so you can have access to our resources. Most often it takes a whole lot less time to do a little research and really be very deliberate and cautious about what you decide to do than it does to clean up the mess that can happen if you don't take those kinds of precautions. Being prescribed an inappropriate drug or being over medicated or agreeing to tests and procedures that are unwarranted, a lot of bad things can happen as a result of that. And by the way, something I'll say, people complain about their doctors a lot, and for good reason in many cases, but I always give the counter to this. I tell people, listen, if you're just showing up and hoping somebody's going to fix you, that doesn't make the best impression either. And our experience has been, and this is what makes me excited to show up for work every day, many times, I would say more than half the time, people who learn from us will go see their doctor or several doctors. And when armed with some information and taking some responsibility themselves, doctors light up and behave differently. And so, yeah, there's some bad there's bad everything out there. There are bad teachers, there are bad restaurant owners, and there's no profession that isn't populated with bad people. But I have found that, and our experience here has been that many doctors turn into much better doctors when patients start becoming a little more proactive. So at least give your doctor that chance, and we can help you do it. So once again, I'll point out that we have this free tour coming up on the 22nd. We do these periodically for this reason. You can see what our resources are all about and engage in a Q&A with me. And you also may want to consider the workshop Navigating the Healthcare System on the 17th or on June 14th. And if you're interested in our smoothie special, send me an email and I will have my assistant get in touch with you. You can reach me at pampopper@msn.com. All right, that's all for today. As usual, pass this on to anybody who you think would enjoy watching it, and I will be back to you tomorrow with more news.